Hare Krishna everyone, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji Janmat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam. Just give me a minute, please. Hope this is done. I'm sorry. Yeah. मज्ञान्तमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरून् श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताका स्वामिनिति नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमाकृताय ते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्नो गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं भवं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna everyone, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for joining. Now we'll start with the verse. We had completed up to verse number 25, isn't it? Which one did we cover? Or 23, right? That 23. So today we'll start from verse number 24. Okay. Yes. So what did we see in the verse number 23? We have seen how basically this is helping us to understand, right? Verse number 23. Before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges, so which are the qualities basically? What is it that we are supposed to do, right? If one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world. A person who is a rishi, right? So this we have seen, and before this we have seen this is one of the important verses, right? Bhoktaram yagya tapsam. Sorry, this one. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga, right? BG 5.22. That how these yehi samsparshaja bhoga, the happiness that we usually get, I mean, which we feel it is temporary, right? I mean, the happiness that we get out of a sense gratification, that is temporary happiness, and ultimately it results in misery. So an intelligent person, he knows about this, he does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to the contact with the material senses. He understands this, that these are temporary, they have a beginning and an end. And so the wise man does not indulge in them, he doesn't delight in them. So this is one of the important verses, even for memorization. Yeah, so now we'll move on to the next one. So we have seen how the person should check the force of desire and anger. So importance, what are the importance of tolerating the urges of the material senses? And we have to tolerate it up to the end, until death, right? So which is the best way of how can we really keep control of our desires? The best thing is to always engage in the service of the Lord. And we discussed, right, the various services which we usually engage in when we render services unto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. And thus it helps us to tolerate all these pushings of the body and the mind. So we'll start with verse number 24 today. Would someone like to volunteer to read this, please? Verse number 24. Just open the book as well. Yes, Sumit Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Verse number 24.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhamma. Yes, please.
Yonta Sukhontaramas Tathantar Jyotirevaya Sayogi Brahma Nirvanam Brahma Bhutoti Gacchati. One whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme, and ultimately he attains the Supreme.
Yes. Sorry, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. So
Hare
basically, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So this is what we see here in this particular verse, verse number 24. So unless one is able to relish the happiness from within. So basically, they are talking about a person who usually are able to rejoice within. So basically, what they try to do is they try to attain the spiritual happiness, right? So this is what we see here in verse number 24. So in the previous one, we have seen how to tolerate the pushings of the mind and the senses, right? So how do we, which are the various forces of the senses? We have seen that. And in this one, it helps us to understand where we should really go and find the pleasure. So the pleasure lies in the spiritual taste. And that is when a person, we basically try to look for the higher taste, param drishtva nivartate, right? So that is very important because until and unless a person is looking for a higher taste, he will not be able to get liberated. And what is the definition of liberation here? It is not that a person wants to merge into the Brahman, right? The definition of liberation is a person wants to get rid of this material, he wants to get rid of this material body in a way that he wants to serve the Lord. So he always wants to engage himself in the eternal service of the Lord. And thus he wants to enjoy the happiness by factual experience because he is no longer interested in the external happiness. Yeah. Would someone like to volunteer to please read this, please? VG takes 5.24. Yes, Prabhuji, please. Hare Krishna.
GitaCh 5.24, the pleasure of spiritual realization. One gets strength to tolerate sensual urges by focusing his happiness, activities, and goals inward. Brahmabhuta stage, liberated platform. To enjoy happiness by factual experience within, no longer interested in material external happiness. Practical application of X 5.24. One must get a higher taste. It is urgent. We have to hear, chant, and have good association. Otherwise, we will be unable to tolerate the urges of the senses over time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. So as we have seen, when we were talking about, right, like what are the various ways of keeping ourselves engaged? We discussed the other day. So what did we discuss? We discussed this, which are the various activities of Krishna consciousness wherein we can get ourselves engaged, right? So we discussed all the various activities, the various services. That is the way we try to enjoy the happiness because that is real happiness and that is what is meant by factual experience. It is not just some theoretical knowledge. This is something wherein we try to apply, we try to implement, we try to do those particular services. So that is what is mentioned here. And when we engage ourselves in those particular Krishna consciousness activities, then a person actually he doesn't get affected by any of the material external things, and he is not no longer interested in the material external happiness also, because that is ultimately associated with what? BG 5.22, what did we cover just now? All the external material happiness that we really long for, we hanker for that, and that is based on our contact with the material senses. So that is the reason. and it is ultimately going to have a beginning and an end. And we have also seen one of the examples, right? We have seen the example of a camel also, wherein he eats the bushes, isn't it, in the desert? He eats the thorns, and
Thorns.
he feels it is very tasty because his
The
mouth
blood.
gets
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it
has
is
own
because of
blood.
the blood. Yes, it is because of the blood. He's sucking on his own, he's licking onto its own blood, and he feels it is very tasty. The taste is very, but he doesn't get to know it is only so that it is only because of the it is his blood only, which he's tasting. Not only that, the what happens is that is why it is mentioned that with every happiness there is some suffering. So we don't realize, because we are looking when we are saying this, we are talking about the material happiness. With every material happiness there is so much of pain and suffering associated with it, that a person doesn't realize that this particular happiness is very temporary. So the endeavor is also very painful, the efforts that are done with just to achieve that particular happiness. And that is why one must get a higher taste. So we discuss Param Drishva Nivartate. It is urgent. We have to hear, chant, have good association. So the spiritual ABCD, right? We have to hear the glories of the Lord. We have to chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We should have good association of the devotees who can really help us in uplifting ourselves, in uplifting our consciousness. Otherwise, we'll be unable to tolerate the urges. So, we should have the good association of the devotees. We should always read Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada's books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita is there, Bhagavad Gita is there, all the small books, even the small books. So we have the association of the devotees, we have the association of the books, and then we have to chant. We have the power of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and we should always focus on the Krishna Prasadam as the diet, ABCD. So then we will be able to conquer these urges. Yes. Hare Krishna. Yes. So, a person, BG 5.25, labhante brahma nirvanam, rishaya sheen kalmashah, chinna dvedhaya tatmanah, sarva bhuta hite ratah. So, those who are beyond the dualities that arise from the doubts, whose minds are engaged within. So, see, these are the qualities of these people, of the rishis. So they are beyond the dualities, because when a person is engaged, if a person is able to control the urges, then it just means that we are able to control our senses, right? So that is the purpose also. If we are able to control the senses because we are engaging them in the service of the Lord, what happens? Ultimately, the person will automatically, he will go beyond the dualities. And then his mind will always be engaged only with respect to the service of the Lord. His minds are engaged within. He is constantly absorbed in the in meditating about on the Lord. It could be with respect to the form, Nam, Roop, Gun, Leela, isn't it? Meditations and Man Mana Bhav Mad Bhakto. The Lord has also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, right? So who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings. So these people, such people, these are the qualities, right? Such people are always working for the welfare of all the living beings. So sarva bhuta hite rataha. So they are always working for the welfare, their well wishers, and who are free from all the sins. They achieve liberation in the Supreme. So this is what is been mentioned. So a Krishna conscious worker person is the true welfare worker. Would someone like to read this, please? Please volunteer.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
BG
Krishna.
text 5.25. A Krishna conscious person is a true welfare worker. Highest welfare work. To revive the forgetfulness of Krishna being the supreme enjoyer, proprietor, and well wisher. Who can engage in such welfare? One cannot engage in such first class welfare without being liberated in the supreme. Therefore, only one in full Krishna consciousness can perform such welfare. What is the imperfect understanding of welfare activities? Physical welfare or temporary relief of external body and mind. Why it is imperfect? Because the real cause of one's difficulties is forgetfulness of one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Supreme Lord. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So, what do we understand that which is the highest welfare work which we see? So, that is what Krishna conscious person will always do, as we see from the example of Srila Prabhupada's life, right? So, what do we see? The highest welfare work. When Srila Prabhupada went to meet his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. So, when he went, actually there was this movement going on, right, for independence. This particular movement was going on, and he was really very much interested. Srila Prabhupada was interested in the movement. So, do you remember what did Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentioned to him when he went and he met him? For the first time, he went there with one of his friends. Srila Prabhupada went with one of his friends, and it was mentioned that the most important, the prime duty is to help the person. I mean, it is not with the independence of the material body. The key, the prime motive or the prime responsibility of a person is to help them get independence from this, give them the freedom of a spiritual life, to give them the to give them this particular understanding of the Krishna consciousness. So this is what was mentioned by him. So to Srila Prabhupada. So this is the highest welfare work, to revive the forgetfulness of Krishna being the supreme enjoyer, proprietor, and well-wisher. And how Lord Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, proprietor, well-wisher. We'll cover this in the 29th verse, which is the last verse of this chapter. And who can engage in such welfare? Only a person, one cannot engage in such first class welfare without being liberated in the Supreme. So, we remember one analogy. Can you relate which particular analogy can be linked to this statement? One cannot engage in such first class welfare without being liberated in the Supreme. So, do you remember the analogy about the rope? A person tied with a rope. Would someone like to share that? If please raise your hands if you know about it. Okay, a person whose hands are already tied, can he save anybody else?
No,
That a
only
person who is
liberated
already
person can.
bound by, no, he cannot save, right? So a
Yeah,
person who is
yeah.
already within the three modes of material nature, can such a person save anybody else? No. So that
No.
is why only a person who is already in the liberated stage, right? In the supreme, liberated in the supreme. So please understand this as a person who has already attained the Shuddha Sattva stage, Shuddha Sattva platform. So that person can only help us. And who are those? They are our acharyas, right? Our bona fide spiritual master. They can only help us. Therefore, only one who is in full Krishna consciousness can perform such welfare activity. And yeah, and we should always understand when we talk about welfare activities, it is not the physical or temporary relief of the external body and mind. So, which are the three kinds of various kleshas or the miseries which a person always gets in this material world? He always receives. There are three kinds of miseries, which are those.
Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika,
Adhyatmika.
Very good.
Adhyatmika.
Yes, yes. Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. Very good. And which are those? What is the understanding of these? What is Adhyatmik Kalesha?
It is created by the nature, Mataji.
Adhyatmik is of the self, Prabhuji. The body and the mind. Self.
Body and the mind, sorry.
So that is the Adhyatmik. And then we have
Adidevik,
Adi Devik. Adi Devik is which is caused
natural
by the nature. Yes.
nature.
So Devik, Devik. Devik is what? That is only Devi Prakriti, right?
Correct.
Godly activities. So that ways you can also understand. So Adi Devik, Adhyatmik, and then Adi Bhautik is the one which is inflicted upon
Yes,
us by
other
others. Very good. So these are the three categories. And so we should understand we are not talking about some temporary relief, not associated with the material body, but we are talking about the spiritual to revive our spiritual constitutional position. A person who can help us understand this. And it is only the acharyas, our gurus, who can really help us, authentic gurus who are in the bona fide parampara in disciplic succession. And why it is imperfect? Because this temporary relief on the external welfare activities, because the real cause of one's difficulty is not this material from, it is not based on any of the material perspective or only on the material bodily platform, but we have forgotten our relationship with the Lord. And that is the reason why all these problems are arising. Which are the four key important problems which a person has to face in this material world? Please raise your hand.
Birth, death, old age,
Yes,
disease.
yes, Mataji, very good. Yes. So that's Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Please raise your hand so that everyone can participate. Thank you. Yeah. So Kama Krodha Vimuktanam Yatinam Yat Chetasam Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam. So those who are free from anger, Kama Krodha Vimuktanam. So a person who is already free from anger and desires, from anger and all material desires, kama, krodha, who are self-realized, who are self-disciplined and constantly endeavoring for perfection. Abhito Brahma Nirvana. Yet Chetasam. So Chetasam is they're constantly endeavoring, for perfection, and they are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the very near future. So this is verse number 26, right? So this is mentioned here. This is basically talking about that a person who has so much of deep conviction in the Lord, in the super soul, and when he is constantly endeavoring for the Lord, isn't it? So he is definitely going to achieve, he is assured. So there is assurance of liberation in the Supreme. So he is assured by the Lord himself, that he is going to, he is assured liberation. Liberation means he is going to achieve the ultimate destination of going back to Goloka to serve the Lord. So Kama Krodha Vimuktanam. So it is Vimuktanam, of those who are liberated. Yatinam, of the saintly persons. Yat Chetasam, who have full control. Just give me a minute, please. Sorry, I'll just. Okay. So who are self-realized, self-disciplined. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a pastime in which Srila Haridas Thakur, there is a pastime about Srila Haridas Thakur, and he's also known as our Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur, isn't it? He used to chant how many rounds on daily basis? Please raise your hand if you know about it.
Mataji, 192.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, yes. Okay. So he used to chant 192 rounds on daily basis. So there was a person who was very envious about him. He was very envious of him, and so what he did, he sent one of the incarnation of Maya Devi, you can say, or the prostitute. He had sent, uh, whose name was Lakshahira, right? Lakshahira. And she comes and she wanted to, contaminate him, right? So even she got changed, she was transformed by coming in the association of Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. And what was the power of his association? He was such a pure devotee of the Lord. The power of his association was that she used to chant 192 rounds on daily basis. She gave up all her all her property she had distributed to all the people in the villages, to the Brahmins in the village. She donated that, and not only that, she was also doing the prayers of the Tulsi plant. And she used to only eat whatever she used to get, she used to receive during her bhiksha, during her in the alms. Whatever she used to receive, she used to eat only that much. And in case if any day if she won't receive anything, any food or anything, she would fast on that particular day. So she became so pure just by the association of such a pure devotee. So these are the, and not only that, slowly and steadily she uh, attained such a level that the symptoms of pure love of Godhead started reflecting in her. And that was the way how she was able to attain the Lord. So this is what has been mentioned. Those who are free from anger and all material desires, because such people, these are the rishis, these are the siddhas, paramhamsas. They are always self-realized, they are self-disciplined, and constantly they are endeavoring for perfection. And when a person also comes in their association, they also get assured of liberation in the supreme, in the future. So the practice has to be there. Did you mention, did you see the self-discipline and constantly endeavoring? So the constant endeavor has to be there. Yes. Would someone like to read this, please? Please raise your hand. We'll take new hands. Yes, Harshita Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna
please.
Mataji. Mataji, but
Hare
I can't see the first line. BG text 5.2.
Secret
The
of
first
attaining
line.
the supreme quickly. Secret of attaining the supreme quickly. Yes, Mataji.
Brahm Nirvana, being constantly immersed in Supreme. Krishna conscious person is the best of all salvationists because effective control of senses is done by focusing on lotus feet of Lord, which uproots all the deep-grown desires of fruitive acts. Reference
Hmm.
Srimad Bhagavad 4.22.39.
Hmm.
Analogy of meditation, tortoise fish bird discussion. The
Yeah, but
tortoise fish
sorry, Mataji. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll have a discussion here because there is a breakout activity, breakout room activity was planned. So let's have a discussion here in this particular slide. Uh, I would request everyone to please I'm not able to get. Just give me a minute. Are you able to view my screen? I am not able to see anybody actually. Yes, that's right, Jaya Mataji. Thank you. Hmm.
Mataji,
Yes,
your voice
yes,
is
Prabhuji.
distorted.
We'll have a small discussion here. Please go to this verse number 5.26. Sorry to interrupt, Mataji. We'll have the discussion later. I mean, we'll go through the slide later. Let's have this first. So, what we will have is, please go through this particular verse and try to identify which are the examples given. There are examples given, right? Some analogies are there, isn't it? So please raise your hands. Yeah, I would request you to raise your hands and identify the analogies. So which are the analogies given and what is their significance? Just one analogy. One person will be able to state only one analogy, please. Yeah, please go through this verse. Verse number 26, fifth chapter. Please raise your hands. Yes, Hare Krishna Murari Prabhuji. You can explain just one analogy, Prabhuji. We'll just take one each.
The fish brings up its offspring simply by
Okay.
looking at them. Focusing by
Yes.
looking at them.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes. Which is the other one? Anyone else? Yes, sir. Let me see. Who has yes, Krishna Kumar Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. The eggs of the tortoise are laid in the land,
Yes,
and the
Prabhuji. The
tortoise
tortoise.
eggs while not yet.
Only one. Yes. And yes,
It is,
Bhagyalakshmi
it is the
Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Which is
Mataji, the same, the tortoise.
okay, tortoise. Okay.
The
So how
tortoise brings up its offspring simply by meditation.
yes, yes. Okay. Yes. So we had how many? We had the fish analogy and we had the tortoise analogy, right? And this comparison is given. Okay. So now let us try to understand. Prabhuji mentioned, Murari Prabhuji mentioned that the fish, the fish brings up its offspring simply by looking at them. Just by looking, right? And Krishna Kumar Prabhuji and Bhagya Lakshmi Mataji also covered this one, tortoise. Yes, Vinod Prabhuji.
And
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
then again, a devotee in Krishna consciousness, although
Hmm.
far from Lord's abode, can elevate himself to the abode simply by thinking of him constantly.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, this is what we were able to identify from here. If we go to this particular paragraph, in the book, before this, there are two lines that are mentioned to cite an analogous example of this. Let me just quickly share it so that everyone will be able to see this. This is BG 5.26, right? I'm opening it here itself so that it becomes easy for everyone. Veda base. Yes. Yes. Is it visible? BG 5.26?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So now what do we see here? See this. Just try to the Bhagavatam 4.22.39 confirms this fact as follows. We're constantly engaged, right? Yat pad pankaj पलाश विलास भक्तया कर्माशयं ग्रहीतम् उद्ग्रहयन्ति सन्तः तद्वन्नरिक्तमतयो यतयोऽपि रुद्धः श्रुतो गणस्तम् अरणं भज वासुदेवम्. Just try to worship in devotional service Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even great sages are not able to control the forces of the senses, which is the example we know about any of the sages who were not able to control their senses, the forces of the senses. Any examples, please?
Vishwamitra.
Yes, yes, very good. Thank you, Prabhuji. So yes, so this was the one of the example senses as effectively as those who are engaged in the transcendental bliss by serving the lotus feet of the Lord, uprooting the deep grown desire for fruitive activities. And the conditioned souls, they have this desire to enjoy fruitive result. It is so deep rooted, even for the sages, because the sages, even if they have attained this human form of life, and if they are doing any um performing any activities, the purpose is for the sages is to control, right? If it depends upon the kind of the sage, actually, whether they are looking for any of the mystic practices, if they are conducting those, or whether they are really the ashtanga yogis, we don't know. So in case I'm just taking an example, generic example. So even for every single person in this material world, it is very difficult for every person to control the desires, right? Despite great endeavors. And usually we understand if a person for the dhyanis, what happens? It is already the renunciation, right? So it doesn't have any kind of taste in it. Isn't it? A devotee of the Lord is constantly engaged in the devotional service in Krishna consciousness. And so they are perfect in the self realization because now they know. What do they know? They understand this. What we have just now read, right? Just try to worship Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what do they understand? They understand that the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karan Karanam. Isn't it? So that is why it is so deep rooted that it is very difficult. But for a devotee, they are so much engaged in devotional service of the Lord that they are perfect in their self realization, and so they attain the liberation in the Supreme. So when they say, when it is mentioned, it attains liberation in the Supreme, it is mentioned in the purport by Srila Prabhupada that a person attains liberation means he attains the perfect ultimate destination. And what is that? The ultimate liberation is to go back to Goloka and serve the Lord. So owing to his complete knowledge, he always remains in trance. So this verse basically focuses on meditation on the Lord. How? See, just by darshan, dhyan, that is what I wanted to show. That is why I have highlighted this verse here. Darshan. So darshan, dhyan, samsparshir. So what did we see? Who is doing the darshan now? Darshan. See, by vision, who did? And then by meditation and by touch. So we are seeing three various categories, right? Darshan, dhyan, and samsparshir. Matasya kurma vihangamaha. So by vision, just by seeing, by meditation, only by completely meditating upon the thoughts, and by touch only do the fish, tortoise, and the birds maintain their offspring. Similarly, do I also, O Padmaja, right? So there are three analogies given here, isn't it? So what happens? I have come back to the slide. We can see here. So we have seen three analogies, right? Tortoise, fish, and bird. So what is mentioned? Tortoise, what does it do? Only by meditation, isn't it? Dhyana. So what happens? He goes, his eggs are there on the land, right? The eggs of the tortoise are laid on the land, and the tortoise goes back into the water, and he keeps on meditating on the eggs, and they hatch. He is there in the water, but still the eggs they will hatch. So while being in the water, he can meditate on those eggs. Similarly, the fish, what it does, simply by looking at them, only by the darshan. So the fish brings up its offspring simply by looking at them. Just imagine. And the birds, they maintain their offspring by touching, some sparsha. Similarly, the devotees in Krishna consciousness. Now, see, how can we attain the Lord? The Lord is very far from us, right? But these are the various examples, analogies we have seen that even if they can do so by simply by meditating, and isn't it? By using different techniques, they are able to attain what they wish for. Then why can't the devotee attain? Devotee can easily attain. The devotee in Krishna consciousness, even though he is very far from the Lord's abode, they can elevate himself to that abode simply by thinking of him constantly. So by engagement in Krishna consciousness, so by darshan, by dhyana, by its touching, by going to the temple, by taking the darshan of the Lord, by making the garlands, by doing the offerings to the Lord, by doing various services of the Lord, we can constantly be absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord, right? Nama, Roop, Gun, Leela. We understand that the Nam and the Dami are non-different, isn't it? Abhinatva Nam Namina. So we understand that there is no difference between the Lord and the Lord's Nam, Roop, Gun, Leela. All of them are non-different. And the best meditation technique is, it is very easy. That is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is so easy for us. We understand that we make offenses while chanting the holy name of the Lord, but still the Lord has mentioned that all our offenses will get purified, even of our offenses that we make if we continuously keep on chanting. So that is one of the best advantage of chanting the holy name of the Lord. And not only that, it is the best meditation technique. So there are so many meditation techniques, right? And this is the best one out of them. And so if we constantly meditate, so this is what is known as Brahma Nirvana. Brahma Nirvana is being constantly immersed in the Supreme. And that is why we have seen these examples. They help us to understand how even while being in the material, even while being in the material world, how can we attain the Lord? How can we elevate our consciousness to that level? Just by by immersing ourselves constantly in the thoughts of the Lord. Even by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, attending the classes, Shravanam, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. We have seen this, right? Navada Bhakti, 9 steps, 9 ways of doing the devotional service. A person can attain the Lord by practicing either one or any of them, or all of them. Any of these practices or all of them. That is possible to attain in case if a person does that sincerely. So this particular verse really helps us to understand. So such a person does not feel the pangs of the material miseries, and that is state is called as Brahma Nirvana, absence of material miseries, because they're so constantly absorbed in the services of the Lord, they really don't feel any kind of material miseries then. Yeah, see, Swani apatyani pushnanti tathaham api padmaja. So the Lord, isn't it? Oh Padmaja, by vision, by meditation, and by touch only do the fish, the tortoise, and the birds. So they maintain their offspring. And you remember there is an analogy of the caterpillar also, how it converts into a butterfly, isn't it? Only by simply meditating on the form of becoming one day I will become a butterfly. They attain that particular state. Yes, Mataji, please continue, Mataji. Harshita Mataji. please read. Thank you, Mataji.
So Mataji, I should read from where now?
You can read it completely, no worries. Yes, please read it from start. DG text point 5.26. I'll read the first line for you. Secret of attaining the supreme quickly. Yes, please.
Brahm Nirvana, being constantly immersed in supreme. Krishna conscious person is the best of all salvationists because effective control of senses is done by focusing on lotus feet of Lord, which uproots all the deep-rooted desires of fruitive act. Reference Srimad Bhagavatam 24, 22, 39. Analogy of meditation, tortoise, fish, bird, discussion. The tortoise brings up its offspring simply by meditation. The eggs of the tortoise are laid on land, and the tortoise meditates on the eggs while in the water. The fish brings up its offspring simply by looking at them. Birds maintain their offspring by touching. Similarly, the devotee in Krishna consciousness, although far away from the Lord's abode, can elevate himself to that abode simply by thinking of him constantly by Krishna consciousness. Brahm Nirvana, stage of absence of material desires due to being constantly immersed in the Supreme.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so this is what we covered just now. Thank you, Mataji. Yes. Yes, Bhagya Lakshmi Mataji, Hare Krishna. You had raised your hand earlier. Would you like to read this, Mataji? Recite the verse, please.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Sparsam Kripta Bahe Brahma Jasusya Antare Grubha Pranapano Samakrutva Nasabhyanta Charino Yatendriya Manobuddhir Munirmo Shaparayana Vigatecha Bhaya Krodha Yasada Mukta Evasa. Hare Krishna.
Please read this as well, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Shutting out of all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and the vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breath within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. So, what do we see in this verse? Yes, verse number 27, 28. Basically, they are helping us to understand the process of Ashtanga Yoga now. So, basically, we are moving, it is just giving a brief overview of Ashtanga Yoga. So, we're moving from 27 and 28, right? Shutting out all external sense objects. So, this is the practice how in Ashtanga Yoga a yogi does. So, what they do, they shutting all the external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, and then they suspend the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus they control the mind, sense, and the intelligence. The transcendentalist, aiming at liberation, becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. So basically, they are helping us understand the Ashtanga Yoga process, like what happens, what a Ashtanga Yogi does. And when he's doing all these activities, the difference is they are trying to purify themselves, right? They are trying to control the senses. The real purpose is, the key purpose is, they are trying to control the senses. For a devotee, they are automatically controlled. Why? How? Because they are being controlled, because they are being engaged in the service of the Lord, right? So if once they are engaged, then there are no chances of fall down also. Here, the chances of fall down are also there. The other benefit of Bhakti Yoga is that in Bhakti Yoga, we always get association. Here, the person has to do it all alone. So the chances are more, chances of fall down are also more, and they can get distracted also. Right? But yeah, but this is basically to help us understand that what is the Ashtanga Yoga process, which will be covered in details later. So here, preliminary, see, this is the prelude to chapter 6. Just to, before starting with the chapter 6, this was a preliminary explanation given that Krishna consciousness is transcendental position of liberation in the Supreme. Because what is happening is, in Ashtanga Yoga also, a person is trying to, what is his aim? His aim is Paramatma. And Paramatma's super soul is again Lord Krishna himself, isn't it? Because which form of law, which Purush Avatara is Paramatma form? Please raise your hand. I request you to please raise your hands. Which
Shirodakshaya,
form is?
Shirodakshaya
Please raise your hand, Mataji. Okay, Shirodakshai Vishnu. Okay, and which form is the? Which form is the? Okay, which is the form? Who gives birth to Lord Brahma? That form is known as. I would. Yeah, please raise your hands. Let me see. Yes, Naveen Sundar Nimai Prabhuji. Which
Garudakshai Vishnu.
Purushavatara? Which Purushavatara gives the birth to Lord Brahma? He's the yeah. From whose
Garudakshai Vishnu.
navel? Yes, Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Thank you, Prabhuji. And which is the other form, the key one who gives birth to Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Shirodakshay Vishnu? Ras Sagar Shri Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.
Kanodakshai Vishnu.
Pranodakshay. Mahavishnu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. So
Right.
that is, yeah. So thus we see these are the three various forms. And so even the Ashtanga yogis, they are meditating on the Shirodakshay form, Paramatma form. Now, Krishna consciousness helps us to understand, to achieve these realizations. We understand what is our spiritual position. This is the same thing which even the yogis are targeting, right? They're targeting on the Paramatma form. One can understand the Supreme Lord quickly by devotional service. We understand that Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is only possible to understand the Lord only by devotional service. We cannot understand Him with other endeavors, right? And one is qualified to feel the presence of the Lord everywhere. So, first, what do we understand? Who are we? How can we understand the Lord? And how to feel the presence of the Lord? So, one becomes qualified. Not how, but we become qualified. The devotees become qualified to feel the presence of the Lord. And Ashtanga Yoga helps by eightfold means in the following ways. So, what are they trying to attain? Ashtanga Yogis, what they are trying to attain is they want to become free from all fear, desire, and anger. Our there is the peace formula, right? The final verse number 29, that is known as the Shanti Sutra, peace formula, that automatically helps us to become free from all fear, desire, and anger. I mean, desire and anger, we understand, we become free. Ultimately, we get purified in the process itself. We don't have to take another process in bhakti. The bhakti process itself purifies us. On the way, we keep on getting purified on daily basis, right? We are getting purified. We don't have to make any extra endeavors, and we become free from how do we become free from the fear? Because we are dependent upon the Lord. So, and a person doesn't need to control the senses, mind, and intelligence uh, separately. He doesn't have to make any extra endeavors, right? He doesn't have to make any extra endeavors, because automatically our senses, mind, and intelligence are controlled, because we are engaged, because our senses are engaged in serving the Lord. And thus a person, they also see that they feel the presence of super soul in transcendental situation, because that is their aim, right? So what are the 8 steps? There are 8 steps. We'll cover these in details in the next chapter. Yam niyam, so don'ts, and then do's. Asan, which are the yoga practices. Pranayam, the process to control, to stabilize our mind and the intelligence. Pratyahar is the Pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Pratyahar is the control, right? Yes. To to get away from the sense objects. Dharana, dhyan, samadhi. These are the various level stages, of trance. So they are with respect to time, how much time is being invested in dharana, then dhyana and samadhi. So these are the various stages basically. And we will cover these in details in the 6th chapter. So the conclusion is Krishna consciousness is the easiest form of yoga. Krishna conscious person being always engaged in devotional service, he does not risk losing his senses to some other engagement. Param drishtva nivartate, right? Because we have given them a higher taste, so there is no chance of losing the senses to, they won't be engaged in anything else. Thus, it is a better way of controlling the senses than Ashtanga Yoga. It is very difficult. If you ask a child also to sit quietly at one particular place, or even if we also sit, is it possible to sit at one place without, is it possible to sit at one place without without conducting any activity? We cannot do so. A person has to perform some kind of activity. Isn't it? Our mind is always active. Mind is always working, so our mind will anyways be engaged in performing some kind of activity. And when we perform any kind of activity, there are different, according to the activity, there are different reactions. So the
Hare
best
Krishna,
way
madam.
is
Sorry to
Hare
interrupt you.
Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji, I am coming for temple program.
Okay,
Right now,
Prabhuji.
I am on the way. I have not yet reached my home. I am unable to hear your class.
Okay, no
So
worries,
sorry.
Prabhuji. Yeah, okay, no worries, Prabhuji. Okay,
I
sure.
am attending class temple program.
Okay, Prabhuji. Sure. Thank you for informing, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Yeah. So if you are online, Prabhuji, and if it is possible to hear, please listen and you can mark the attendance later. You can stay, yeah, if it is possible. If the network is
Okay,
fine.
I am staying here.
Okay, sure, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll continue. Yeah, so thus it is better way of controlling the senses than the Ashtanga Yoga. So we covered this. Yeah, so this is our Shanti Sutra, BG 5.29. So would someone like to read this, please? Please recite. Yes, please. Yes, Naveen Sundanimai, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
please. Hare Krishna.
Bhagavad Gita 5.29. Bhaktaram yajnatapasam sarvalokamaheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam santim rikshati. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the planks of material miseries. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. This is such a beautiful verse. So yeah, we'll go through the book also for this particular verse. So it says, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapsam, right? Bhoktaram. Bhoktaram is the beneficiary. Bhoktaram is the beneficiary of. Now, when we talk about Bhoktaram Yagya Tapsam, so Yagya is the sacrifices, Tapasam is the tapasya, right? Now, so the Lord is the beneficiary of sacrifices and the austerities. And first, and Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. So, Maha Ishwar, he is the Maha Ishwar. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I'll go back to this also. This will help us to cover it in details. I've gone to the Veda base. Yeah. So what do we see from here? Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So he is Maha Ishwar. He is the supreme lord of all the planets and the demigods, right? So when we talk about this, that he is the, yeah. So when we talk about this, that he is the Supreme Lord, Maha Ishwar. So he is the supreme controller of planets and the demigods. And from here, what do we understand? See here it is mentioned. He is the proprietor. I have highlighted. He is the proprietor of all the planets and the demigods. No one is greater than him. So which is the word which helps us to understand that no one is greater than the Lord and no one is equal to him? Do you please raise your hands if you know about it? The Lord is known as? The Lord is not greater than, no one is greater than or equal to the Lord. So the Lord is known as? Yes, Prabhuji.
Asam,
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Asamurdha.
Asamordha. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yes. So the Lord is also known as Asamordha because no one is greater than or equal to him. So not only that, see, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, he is greater than the greatest of the demigods, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Okay, which is the next second offense that we always mention in the out of the 10 offenses? Does anyone remember which is the second offense?
To
We should not
consider
consider all the demigods
equal.
equal to the.
Yes. So that is what is mentioned, right? So what do we understand from this? That even they are under his control, right? So he is the greatest of the demigods, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, controller of all controllers, Maha Ishwaram, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. And thus we understand that The Supreme Lord is described as Tam Ishwarana Paramam Maheshwaram. So this is also mentioned according to the Shvetashvatar Upanishad. This is mentioned in our Upanishads as well. And not only that, see, the Lord is the master of the material nature. So this means that he is the controller of our material energy also, right? Material nature. So we know Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. The material energy works under the control of the Lord, under the direction of the Lord. So he is the controller of not only the lokas, planets, demigods, but also the material nature, right? This helps to understand. Now, when we talk about Bhoktaram, the Lord is the Bhoktaram. He is the beneficiary. Now, he is the beneficiary of yagyas, of sacrifices. Who performs the sacrifices? Karma kandis and the karma yogis, right? And what do we understand from the sacrifices? That they conduct the sacrifices and the Lord is the beneficiary of those sacrifices. So ultimately, the aim of the karma kandis and the karma yogis is Lord Krishna, right? And who performs the austerities, tapasya? Bhoktaram yagya and then Bhoktaram tapasam. So who performs the austerities? Jnanis, they perform the austerities, right? So their aim is when they perform the austerities. So ultimately, we see their aim is also Supreme Lord Shri Krishna only because he is the beneficiary there as well. So they are also whom are they satisfying? Even they are satisfying Lord Krishna only, right? And then Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. The Lord is sitting as Sarvabhutanam. He is the well-wishing friend of all. And the Ashtanga yogis, what do they do? Ashtanga yogis, they are meditating on the super soul. Sarvabhutanam means the Lord is situated in the heart of all the living beings, of the living entities. Actually, he is the well-wishing friend, Suhridam benefactor. And even for the Ashtanga yogis, the Lord is their aim because their aim is super soul, Paramatma, Shirodakshai Vishnu, and it is ultimately Supreme Lord Sri Krishna only. So ultimately, we see that it is the Lord only who is the beneficiary of everyone. People are not understanding that. But for everyone, he is the ultimate goal. So, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapsam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. And there are three words. There is something known as Mitra, Bandhu, and Suhrit. So now, when we talk about Mitra, it is a sort of social convention. From social perspective, we use the word as Mitra. Then we have Bandhu. So this is from the official perspective, right? If an official friend is there, then we call Bandhu. Now Suhrit. Suhrit is a one who is the well-wishing friend of yours. Why the Lord is known as well-wishing? Please raise your hands. You can share your views. Why the Lord is known as Suhridam? Why he is the only well-wishing friend? There are so many friends for every person, right? And somebody is also having a best friend. So why the Lord is known as the Suhridam?
Because he always tried to revive the relationship with him. Because we forgot the relationship, he tried to rebuild the relationship.
Close, but not directly. Yes, Naveen Sundar Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Yes, please, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Because
Krishna.
Krishna never leaves us in any condition.
Hari Bol.
He
Yes,
always
Prabhuji.
resides within us.
He always resides. Even when we transmigrate from one body to another, he always goes with us. He always stays with us. Until and unless we leave this consciousness or subtle body, he will never leave us. So he is the one who is our well-wishing friend. He never ever leaves us. All our relations are here. They are very close and they are very well-wishing. I mean, they always, they are very well-wishing in the sense they always think good for us, but they cannot be with us forever. It is only the Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna, who is our eternal well-wishing friend. He never ever leaves us. And he continues to take so many incarnations, birth after birth, whenever we are coming. Why the Lord is taking so many incarnations? He is taking so many incarnations so that he can again and again, he keeps on coming from the Goloka. He keeps on coming, he appears, he descends onto this material world just for us to reclaim all the fallen conditioned souls. And how many incarnations does he have? Infinite incarnations. Just like how many, there are infinite waves in the ocean. Similarly, he has infinite incarnations. He wants to attract all of us through his pastimes so that we get attracted. We are so deeply conditioned, it becomes so difficult. That is why, we are in this habit of forgetfulness. Our nature is so forgetful. So that is the reason. And one who understands all this, Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati, a person ultimately, how can a person become peaceful when he is free from fear also? Such a person who is totally surrendered unto the Lord, when he understands this, he is going to attain peace. Means he is also going to become fearless. He will also never be fearful, when there were riots, I believe, when Second World War was happening. So during the Second World War, I remember uh, Russia was bombarding, right, on Calcutta. It was during the Second World War when Srila Prabhupada was in Calcutta. So yeah, let me see. I don't want to. No, it was Japan. So the war was going on in 1945. The Second World War was going on, and Japan was bombarding. This was happening when Calcutta, when war was happening, and Japan was bombarding. And it was announced, it was declared that this war is happening, and everyone has to. I think they were supposed some emergency thing was happening, and so they had to go underground. So the Srila Prabhupada, he was frying kachoris in the kitchen, and one of his friends, while running, he just saw that Srila Prabhupada is doing something. And so he came running and he mentioned, "Why? What are you doing? You should go and hide. You should run away. You have to hide." Srila Prabhupada mentioned, "Mare Krishna Rakhe ke, Rakhe Krishna Mare ke." That is, if a person is really, Mare Krishna Rakhe ke. So it was like this fearful condition is there. Why are you not protecting yourself? So when Lord Krishna wants to protect anyone, nobody can kill that particular person. And when and Lord Krishna wants to kill anybody, then nobody can protect that person. So Mare Krishna Rakhe ke, Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. So that complete surrender, that was there in Srila Prabhupada, and that is what is uh, shown by all our great acharyas. That is the parampara that we have, all the great acharyas that we have, Madhvacharya, we have such a great parampara, Srila Prabhupada. So this is what we understand, that a devotee, a pure devotee of Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna, he is never fearful of any kind of, he is always fearless basically. He is never under this Maya, Maya of this material nature. Yes, Jia Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji, the incident that you just told of Srila Prabhupada, shouldn't be at least, it is not our duty to try to protect ourselves and
No,
be
no,
just
that is
completely.
no, Mataji, that is true. But no, no, that I agree. But see, the point is, if a COVID is happening, I'll take an example for you. We understand the instance that has happened recently, the incident, this the case that has recently happened, the aeroplane thing. I won't go into the details because I don't want to discuss anything. I'm just taking an example that if a person, just because of that particular situation, if a person is thinking, okay, I don't want to go out now, he becomes fearful of the situation from that perspective, then what is the use of it, right? So this is what the intent is with this is what the purpose of explaining this particular incident was, that if something is happening, nobody is going, person is definitely going to take precaution, right? Obviously, because that has also been mentioned when we were talking about the verse number 5.18. You remember when we were talking that a wise person, he never differentiates, right, between a dog and elephant, right? So
Yes,
Vidya
Mataji.
Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini. But this doesn't mean that a person who is seeing everyone with equal vision is going to go and stand in front of a lion. No. He has to differentiate. He has to make use of his intelligence, right? So with respect to different perspective, the examples are given according to that situation. So that was the understanding. It was given with respect to that understanding, that how fearful he is, Srila Prabhupada. So there are more examples, to show his sorry, how fearful, how fearless Srila Prabhupada was, So not only that, there are different more examples also, like pastimes, incidents from his life. We remember that how when he went initially, he was accompanying Srimad Bhagavatam. He never mentioned that I am taking Srimad Bhagavatam with me. He always mentioned Srimad Bhagavatam is accompanying me, isn't it? I mean, I'm going with Srimad Bhagavatam that way. So, and he was always he always mentioned that it is according to the instructions of my guru. So just to showcase the various characteristics of our acharyas, different examples or incidents are cited accordingly, Mataji. Yeah,
Thank
so
you so
very
much.
beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So thus we understand that direct Krishna consciousness is bhakti yoga. So I hope this it's not obstructing the view, right? This video, because sometimes I feel the video is obstructing it. Okay, yeah. So thus we understand that, see, the Lord is the master of the material nature, and the conditioned souls are under the stringent rules of material nature. And unless one understands these facts, which we just now covered, it is not possible to achieve peace in the world, either individually or collectively. Why? Because, see, when we understand that it is the Lord only who is the ultimate proprietor of everything, then the person is not going to fight, right? They will not fight with respect to the property or the land that this is mine, isn't it? Because they will understand it is Lord's only. And we are actually, even this particular body, we are on our, it is like, it is on rent, right? So when a person understands that Krishna is the supreme controller and he is the beneficiary of everything, then he becomes fearless. A person becomes fearless because then he is not attached to those situations or to the objects, material objects. Then he is not attached to it. And so, and why people are fighting with each other? Because they want to enjoy, right? We remember, right, when during the COVID initial wave, how much of fear was there everywhere, isn't it? Even with respect to the stocks or refilling of the goods, everywhere there was so much of panic was all around, and so much of fear, this fearfulness was there. The reason being because we understand that the situation was different that time. But until and unless we also understand that, okay, everything is under Lord's control, nothing can happen to the person until and unless it is completely planned for, isn't it? For that particular person, according to his karma, according to his deeds and the desires, right? We understand that. So what is the need of becoming fearful? If a person has to die, if we have to leave this material body, that anyways will happen at that particular moment, at its right moment. We cannot change that situation. But that shouldn't stop us from doing our Krishna conscious activities. That is what is meant by fearfulness. This is the fearful state of mind, because it is not talking about the bodily symptoms that appear with respect to the fear. No, it is with respect to the state of mind, how fearful a person becomes, from inside. So this is what is mentioned here. And that is why Sarvalok Maheshwaram also helps to understand Supreme Lord. He is the Maha Ishwar. So we have seen that he is the Supreme Controller. So when we understand he is the Supreme Controller, he is the Supreme Beneficiary, then what is there to fight? We shouldn't showcase that, okay, we are the enjoyer or we are the proprietor, isn't it? And so, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. This also we have seen how Lord is our well-wishing friend, right? That he is the friend, not only he is the friend of only the he is the friend not only of the entity, what I mean is of the human beings. No, he is the friend of each and every single living entity, He is the friend of every living entity who is present. Even the hog, even the Lord is situated as super soul or Paramatma in the body of the hog. So he is present in each and every single living entity. He is present. Yeah. So thus we understand this. I'll go back to the slide now. Yes. Would someone like to read this, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah,
Hare
let's
Krishna.
take new hands. Yes, Archana Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, please, Mataji.
The Bhagavad Gita, text 5.29, peace formula. how to attain peace through understanding Krishna's supremacy and acting accordingly. Karma Yoga as action in full knowledge is a practical application of Krishna consciousness. To work in Krishna consciousness means to work in full knowledge of Lord as the predominator. Such work is not different from transcendental knowledge. Direct Krishna consciousness is Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga is a path leading to Bhakti Yoga. Position of living entity as eternal servant. Pure soul is the eternal servant of God as fragmental part of parcel. Cause of his suffering, contact with Maya, that is illusion due to desire to lord it over. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. So thus we understand that when we, as we discussed, that when we work in Krishna consciousness, we always have this mentality that the Lord is the supreme enjoyer. Such work is non-different from transcendental knowledge because now we are working with that particular consciousness, right? And when we work with respect to this consciousness, we understand this and we are not attached to the fruits also because we are only working for the Lord. Direct Krishna consciousness is Bhakti Yoga. So, and Jnana Yoga, it is just a path which is leading to Bhakti Yoga, right? And the position, and it is also mentioned, what is the position of the living entity? Jivira Swarupai Krishna Nitya Dasa, that we are the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the pure soul is yes, the same thing. Pure soul is the eternal servant of God as the fragmental part and parcel. Mame Mam Shujiva Loke. And yes, as we discussed that we are automatically under the Maya, right? And Maya is under the control of the Supreme Lord. So, and we get illusion because we want to lord it over. We have a desire, tendency to lord it over the material, to lord over the material nature, actually. Yes. Yes, Jia Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yes, please read Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, Jia Mataji. Yes, please.
Yes,
Yes,
Krishna
please.
consciousness arising
Mhm.
of spiritual experience in the material world brings one into spiritual life while one is in the jurisdiction of matter. Lord is not partial to anyone but reciprocates according to your approach. The more one is advanced, the more one is free from the clutches of Maya. Everything depends on one's practical performance of duties in Krishna consciousness. These duties help one control the senses and conquer the influence of desire and anger. Ashtanga Yoga is automatically practiced in Krishna consciousness because the ultimate purpose is served. Ashtanga Yoga is a process of gradual elevation by 8 steps. The highest perfection of life, only devotional service can award peace to the human being.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, what did we see? How can we attain the peace? Because we understand that Krishna, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the supreme controller. He is the supreme benefactor, right? So, and what is Krishna consciousness? This spiritual experience which we get, which we can relish while being in this material world. You know, it brings one into the spiritual life while one is in the jurisdiction of matter. When a person is in the material world, okay, so there are three types of energies of the Lord. Which are those three types of energies? External energy. Then, which are the other energies which we have? Please raise your
Internal,
hand.
external, internal, and marginal.
Yes, Mataji. External energy, internal energy, and marginal energy. So the external energy is the Mahamaya, right? Internal energy is Srimati Radharani. And the Jiva is known as the marginal energy. So we have Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and Tathastha Shakti. Jiva is known as the Tathastha Shakti. Bahiranga is the external energy, and Antaranga energy is Srimati Radharani. Now, when a person is in Krishna consciousness, if there is this material energy, the material he can also what happens? Material energy also helps the person to go towards the spiritual energy. If the devotee or if the person desires so it depends upon us. So even while being here, in the material world, we can really try. We can try to stay in the spiritual consciousness. We can always try to do so. So what we have to do is, how when I say okay, the external energy also helps the person, how does it do so? If a person desires, then he is going to focus on those kind of activities. So automatically the what happens is, automatically the hold of external energy will become a little weakened, right? So that is what is meant here. So that ways a person can automatically go towards the spiritual energy. He can totally, completely try to advance towards the spiritual energy. So we also understand that the Lord is not partial to anyone, but he reciprocates according to your approach. We have seen, right? Hoktaram yagyat apsam. So the Lord is also saying, okay, for the karmis also I am there, for the jnanis also I am there, even for the Ashtanga yogis I am there. But, and we also understand, vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yaj gyatva advayam brahmeti parmatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate, that there are three partial realizations, right? Which are those? Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Different people, they have different realizations. They have different stages. These are the different stages. And different people, they perceive the Lord differently, right? Someone perceive the Lord as Brahman, some as Paramatma, and the devotees as Bhagavan. So the Lord will also reciprocate accordingly, isn't it? So the more one is advanced, the more one is free from the clutches of Maya. So this is what is mentioned as we discussed from about the Bahiranga Shakti and the Jiva, Tathastha Shakti. And everything depends on how we perform our practically how we are performing our Krishna conscious activities. What kind of consciousness we have, that really helps us to understand. And all our conscious, Krishna conscious activities, they help us automatically, we control the senses. We don't have to make any extra efforts, right? To conquer any our desire and anger. No, it is not necessary. I mean, it automatically happens in the process itself, you know. And Ashtanga Yoga is also helping the to attain the same thing. See, it says ultimately the Ashtanga Yoga is automatically practiced in Krishna consciousness because the ultimate purpose is served. So our Bhakti Yoga, that is the elevator, and this is the highest practice, which ultimately has to be attained by everyone. So Bhakti Yoga is the devotional service to the Lord, and this is what we practice. Krishna consciousness is Bhakti Yoga. And Ashtanga Yoga, automatically it is practiced. Okay, how Ashtanga Yoga is automatically practiced in Krishna consciousness? Please raise your hand. We just covered. You can just share your views. That's fine. No answers are wrong. How we are practicing Krishna consciousness automatically. Okay, what is the purpose of Ashtanga Yoga?
Elevate to Krishna consciousness.
Hmm. Okay, it depends. If a Ashtanga yogi wants to go and go towards Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji, but what is the purpose of Ashtanga yoga? Why a yogi, Ashtanga yogi is doing sitting in meditation and doing his dhyana? Why is he doing so? Yes, Eva Mataji. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Mataji. That's
Okay,
fine.
so the purpose is to serve Lord Krishna.
Okay.
And you could also, and with Ashtanga Yoga, um you could use the 8-step elevation process to process into Ashtanga Yoga.
Okay, so in which yoga are you mentioning, Madhuri, that the purpose is to serve the Lord? In Ashtanga Yoga, is it?
In Ashtanga Yoga.
Okay. No, Mataji. Ashtanga Yoga, basically, yogi is practicing because he is actually focusing on the super soul. He's not interested in serving the Lord. Right? Why Ashtanga Yoga we are doing is because Ashtanga Yoga is helping the Ashtanga yogis. They are helping them to control their senses. That is the real purpose, and that is why it is mentioned that automatically we are all, see this line. These duties, Krishna consciousness duties, they help one to control the senses, right? And thus a person can conquer the influence of desire and anger. And this is what an Ashtanga yogi is trying to practice. That is why we say we are automatically getting purified in the process itself of bhakti yoga. We don't have to make any extra endeavors like the Ashtanga yogis are doing. And that is why there are chances of fall down also in Ashtanga yoga. And they have to, we will cover in the next chapter also how they have to look for some specific places. They have to sit in a specific posture, right? All those details will be covered later. But ultimately, it is a process of gradual elevation by 8 steps, right? But what they are trying to attain with respect to Ashtanga Yoga is automatically covered by a bhakta, by a devotee. That is why it is mentioned. Ashtanga Yoga is automatically practiced in Krishna consciousness. And that is also mentioned. See, the highest perfection. So, conclusion is the highest. What is the highest perfection of life? It is only devotional service. Why? Because that can award the peace to the human being. Why they can award the peace to the human being? Because a devotee understands that Lord Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, he is the supreme benefactor and the supreme controller of everything. He is the well wishing friend of everyone. Thus, such a person attains peace. I hope this is clear to everyone, right? Why Ashtanga Yoga is automatically practiced as a part of Krishna consciousness, right? Yes, would someone like to read this, please? Please volunteer. Yes, Sonali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Tanvat Pranam. Yes, please, Mataji.
Formula for peace. The conditioned souls within the clutches of the illusionary energy are all anxious to attain peace in the real world. But they do not know the formula for peace, which is explained in this part of the Bhagavad.
Thank you, Mataji. 5.29 purport. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, so thus we understand. So, what is the peace formula? We have just seen. We have just now seen that we understand that the Lord is the supreme controller, benefactor, right? Sarva Bhoktaram Yagya Tapsam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Yatvam Mam Shantim Richati. Right? Yes. Yeah. So, yes, please volunteer to read this, please. Yes, Mona Lisa Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, please, Mataji.
Formula for peace. What kind of friend? Krishna says, I am Sruridam Sarva Bhutanam. Shruhit. He wants how you shall be happy. Mitra. Social friendship. Bandhu. Official friendship. But Shruhit means one who actually desires good of his friend. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. So this is what we have seen just now, right? Suhrit. He wants everyone to be happy. Mitra is the social friendship, Bandhu is official friendship, and Suhrit is the one who desires good of his friends. Suhrit, right? Hiteshi, one who is a well-wishing friend, who always desires good of his friend. Yes, Madhav Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Would you like to read this, please?
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Sincere friend, which you describe in English. So Krishna is Surit. He is always expecting my good. How I shall be good. Therefore he is canvassing me. Please you surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 2.20 to 25. Seattle, October 14, 1968.
Thank you, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So this we have seen. He is always expecting my good. How I shall be good. So therefore he is canvassing, please you surrender unto me. And that is why who can help us understand the peace formula? Who can help us understand how to take shelter of Lord Shri Krishna? It is only our acharyas, And that is why when we talked about the shloka wherein the Lord keeps on taking so many incarnations, he comes, just to reclaim all the fallen conditioned souls. So he also sends all his eternal associates Whom does he send? The Lord he sends his eternal associates like Srila Prabhupada, like Madhvacharya, like all our acharyas, our Guru Parampara, Shad Goswamis, right? So these are the various ways in which he keeps on helping us and guiding us so that we can ultimately go back to Godhead. Yeah. Would someone like to volunteer to read this, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Okay. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mona Lisa Mataji. Yes, please.
Yoga ladder. It may be compared to a ladder for attaining the topmost spiritual realization. This ladder begins from the lowest material condition of the living entity and rise up to perfect self-realization in pure spiritual life. According to various elevations, different parts of the ladder are known by different names, but all in all, the complete ladder is called yoga. 6.3 purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dhanapranam. So this is what we see. What is the yoga ladder? The ladder basically begins from the lowest material condition, as we have seen right earlier. We'll again be covering it in the 6th chapter. And these are the different parts of the ladder. They are known by different names. But completely, this entire yoga, the ladder, what is the purpose of the ladder? To connect with the Lord, right? The yoga word, yoga is what? Yoga is in connection. So in connection with Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So that is the real purpose of the ladder. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Bhagya Lakshmi Mataji. Sorry, Archana Mataji. Was it you or Bhagya Lakshmi Mataji? Yes, Hare Krishna Praveen Prabhuji Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Bhagyalakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Praveen Mataji, please read. Yes.
I can read.
Sorry. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, please read.
Gradual process. Yes, the gradual process of yoga system, Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga means fruitive activities, pious activities or prescribed activities. Then, by performing Karma Yoga, one comes to the platform of Jnana Yoga, knowledge, and from knowledge to this Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Then, from Ashtanga Yoga, concentrating the mind on Vishnu, come to the point of Bhakti Yoga. Bhagavad Gita 6.46.47, Los Angeles, February 21st, 1916.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dhanapranam. Thank you, Mataji. So this is the gradual process. What is the purpose ultimately? Until and unless we get so much of that, I mean, until and unless we get purified, to achieve that particular stage, we have to continue with our activities, right? That is what we have seen. That is why Lord Krishna suggested Arjuna that you should not leave your duties, prescribed duties. You have to fight because you are a Kshatriya. You have till now you have not come up to a stage of renouncing everything, right? You cannot renounce your prescribed duties. So that is what is meant here. Then from Ashtanga Yoga, concentrating the mind on the Vishnu, come to the point of Bhakti Yoga. So this is how we have seen Karma Yoga. We started with Karma Kanda, which is not a part of the ladder basically, because after Karma Kanda is regulated sense gratification. After Karma Kanda is basically the stepping stone. So we have Karma Yoga after that, and then Jnana Yoga. From Jnana Yoga, ultimately a person comes to Ashtanga Yoga. But ultimately, we understand Bhakti Yoga is the elevator. A person can directly move on to the Bhakti Yoga. It is not necessary for a person to go to Bhakti Yoga by following this ladder. No, not at all. That is what has been given to us by the Lord. The Lord Sri Krishna. This is what he is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita, that my devotee, he can directly attain me. You can become my devotee by absorbing yourself completely into me, and whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, do it only as a offering to me, right? Yad karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi dadasi, yad tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushvu madarpanam. So whatever you eat, whatever you do, whatever you offer, whatever sacrifices you make, do it as an offering to me. So this is what is mentioned. So thus we understand Bhakti Yoga is the easiest and It is eternally blissful. Susukham kartum avyayam. It is eternally blissful. So, and it is the elevator for us. So this is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 6.46 to 47, Los Angeles, February 21st, 1969. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Bhagya Lakshmi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga. Activities performed in full knowledge strengthen one's advancement in real knowledge. 5.2 purport. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So basically, this is the explanation like a person when came from Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga. 5.2 purport. Activities. When a person performs his activities with full knowledge, it helps in advancing in real knowledge. Real knowledge is what is who are we? What is our relationship with the Lord, right? So, and let me see whether. And when Karma Yoga increases in knowledge and renunciation, the stage is called Jnana Yoga. So they are saying like when Karma Yoga, this is the ladder basically that is being helped understood here. When Karma Yoga, when we keep on increasing ourselves in knowledge and renunciation. So what is meant by renunciation here? It is the renunciation of the desire for the fruit of that particular activity, not the activity. We cannot renounce the prescribed duty. No. Renunciation with respect to the attachment, we have to be detached from the, yes, we have to be detached from the fruit of the result of the activity. Yes, thank you so much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So basically, we have completed this 5th chapter today. So I'll just stop the sharing and I'll stop this thing. Just give me a minute, please. I'll stop sharing first. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।
Mataji.
Hare Krishna everyone.